Hi. Hey, good morning, everyone. If it is morning, who really cares anymore? Anyways, today we are doing my pop culture into D&D. Simple as that. It is also the first episode, which basically means I need to explain what this is. Simply, this series I'm about to do is going to be, well, just putting any pop culture thing changing it a bit so it fits in the realm of Dungeons and Dragons, and putting it in Dungeons and Dragons. Simple as that. I am doing this purely because I've seen so many different homebrew, because I enjoy homebrew, and they don't really D&D they just plop it in and say, as an example for this episode, hi, yes, I am Inkling from Splatoon. Instead, we are doing I am inspired by Splatoon for the example. Simple as that. So, let's head on into how we do things. Because again, this is the first episode, so it's going to be a bit longer than most. Oh, we're going crazy. So, simply speaking, I will be explaining what Splatoon is and explain in the lore of the thing we're making into a race which are the Inklings and Octolings. So I have so much to explain. Then we're going to explain in roughly the same way my version for Dungeons and Dragons and how I try to make them fit into D&D and as many settings as I physically could. So, let's get on with it. Now, Inklings and Octolings are very confusing lore-wise. So, forgive me if I screw up some things. In fact, I don't fully have a script. I have information written on a paper page. So, simply speaking, we are going to divide this with first talking about the Inkling lore, because there's not a lot, and then we'll talk about the Octarian lore, which there's much more of for some reason. Why is there so much about a species that we were killing for 2 games, and ever since Octo expansion, we were able to play the Octolings. Odd. Very odd, Nintendo. Give us more Inkling lore in Splatoon 4, since with the way Splatoon 3 is going, yeah. Also, I should mention, in special thanks to Octomat 3000, because he kind of helped me a lot. He got every single form of Splatoon 2 footage, mainly Octo expansion, that you'll be seeing. And I tried to capture Splatoon 3 footage. Yeah, simple as that. He also helped me research, so go check him out. I'll leave his channel in the description. Anyways, on to Inkling lore. Inkling lore is very simple. We'll talk about the physical form of both of them later. But now it is simply Alterna stuff happened. Humans went its instinct. And sea life started eating crystals that contained the memories of humans back when they were staying in Alterna, underground, wanting for the surface. Why are these idiots worse kobolds? My god. Anyways, is after that, the sea life, because of a literal thing that they have called RNA, which lets them evolve very fast, they evolved much faster and turned into a shape-changing humanoid form, which lets them turn into a cephalopod for Inklings and Octolings. However, Octolings are much more complicated on how they're born. Basically, they have to earn their form. So, yeah, once they earn it, they are Octolings. So, there's a fun fact. Inklings and Octolings, and the Octarians, sorry, then had a big-ass war known as the Great Turf War. Very goddamn stupid. It is because, despite the fact that they were now on the surface after floods, because of said floods, there's not as much land. They're fighting over territory. And eventually, well, you can guess what happened. The turf war is meant literally, they were warring over turf. Eventually, though, the Squidbeak Splatoon actually won the war, which are the inkling side, mainly with the help of a cat called Judge, who decided that they were just better for his own selfish goals. And then they just seal the Octolings in the underground, not in Alternos, just all around. Simple as that. Then, after that, they just became friendly people. They didn't war as much, and they used the term turf war as a fun little game. That's fucked up. But, yeah, simple as that. Odd. Very, very odd. Now, Inklings are indeed humanoids that have pointed ears and a mask over their eyes that also bridge on their nose. And their hair are tentacles. So, yeah, pretty much a normal human being. As for the Octarian side, once they were pushed under the ground, they literally went 6 feet underground. Actually, much more than 6 feet. But after that, at the time General DJ Octavio kind of lost control of his armies because, well, why even be an army if you cannot get to the surface? So they just made homes in the underground, making Octo Valley and Octo Canyon. I am not going to explain which one's in what game because I forget. And they are not in my notes anywhere. I'm pretty sure Valley is 1 and Canyon's 2. But either way, yeah. He kind of did not have very good control, so he kind of put glasses on everyone and hypnotized his entire army with the hypno goggles. Specifically the goggles. This one I do know. Trust me. I'm not that big of a moron. Anyways, he hypnotized his entire army to try to go back to the surface. Sorry. But the Squidbeak platoon kinda has only 3 members. So they just recruited a random inkling who became Agent 3. Yeah, again, very odd series of games. But after Agent 3 kind of went on a rampage and just beat up Octavio, who justifiably, of course, because again, he kind of wanted to commit a genocide of Inklings. It is very simply that a good part of Agent 3's victory was that they played a song that just counters hypnotism, called the Calamari Incantation, which made some of Octavio's army just snap out of it and decide, screw it, we're going to the surface on our own. Who cares? We're not waging another war. So they entered the deep sea metro, which we'll get to soon. Suffice it to say, everyone that went there kind of died. Except for one. In the second game, Marina Callie kind of got kidnapped by Octavio after he somehow escaped his snow globe, because they trapped him in a snow globe where he kind of just put on the hypno shades, which are just better than the hypno goggles somehow. Oh, in my opinion, that makes like zero sense, considering how goggles are affixed to your eyes and shades are not. They are affixed to your face. And you can, if you do like a side glance while wearing shades, you can just see the world without the shades covering it. So yeah, very odd how they worked better. But they worked a lot better. So you got most of his army, aside from the ones who escaped from the first time. Marina, who is Agent 1, goes and just grabs another Inkling, because that worked so well the last time, who is significantly older than Agent 3 by 2 years, according to Marina herself. So we're going to trust that. And then Agent 4 became a thing with the help of Sheldon. He put a stop to Octavio's plan once again. And again, they played the Calamari Incantation, which somehow, again, reversed the hypnotism. Where the Octarians just left at that point, after Octavio kind of got trapped in the snow globe again. Then yeah, Splatoon 3 happens. And Splatoon 3 doesn't have any significant lore other than the stuff at the beginning. Not even Side Order has much lore other than the fact that some Octarians just wanted to go back. So, yeah. Now, Octalings, which are the part that I'm taking from the Octarians, because Octarians are not just Octalings. They are a lot. But, simply, they look like an Inkling, but their eye mask doesn't bridge the nose. It's more like eyeliner. They're for Octalings. And they also don't have pointed ears. So they look even more human-like. They must have eaten more humans' memories somehow. Oh, because apparently that makes sense. But yeah, if you're wondering what happened to the Deep Sea Metro, they kind of had to get a random Octaling to stop that whole mess. Because, yeah, Phone decided the world must die. Because Inkling and Octalings were fighting over a slight genetic difference. So yeah, simple as that. Again, after Splatoon 2, not much lore has been revealed. Except that they are literally all over. And some live in France. Which means Splatsville is French. Which means, oh god, I've been roughing the wrong people. So. After all that info dumping, what do I have? Well, let's go over what we could do. Well, obviously we need to make it so that these things look human, but can also change their shape into a form that is akin to a cephalopod. We can just change it to be any swimmable thing. But the reference is inklings and Alterlings, so cephalopod much more acceptable. They also enjoy to turf wars and anarchy. Again, I've only played Splatoon 3, guys. So they enjoy combative sport, and they also like music and style a lot. So I imagine that we need to make these guys much fitting, very fitting for a Hexblade Warlock, College of Swords Bard, College of Valor Bard, fighters, barbarian, all martial classes, and all charisma based classes. aka literally everything but rogues, clerics, druids, and wizards. So, what do we have? Well, let me tell you. So, Alterlings. They are born through circumstances no one knows of, as is a very kept secret. But according to the history books, the Alterlings come from an underground cavern located within the Feywilds. Well, it's where they originally were a race that mostly ate rocks. Their favorite thing to munch on were the crystals of the Feywild. However, as soon as they reached the surface of the Feywild, it was a bad time. As at the time, the same deity, as far as we know, was sending elves to the material plane, banishing them from the Feywild. And since the Alterlings looked like elves without transforming, they simply were kicked to the material plane as well. Since most of their species were kicked to the Feywild, to the material plane, and they decided to make the best of this situation and expand and try to make peace with the friendly races, including the elves. However, they started to mingle a bit too much, where a great war broke out about 500 years ago. Only the eldest of the Alterling species know exactly what happened. All the history books say that it was a civil war between the two subraces of the Alterlings, the Vimo and the Woomy. The Woomy did eventually win, where they came to an agreement about 100 years later. They decided that they would take part in a gladiatorial match, non-lethal, of course, to decide their polygonal decisions. However, this came at the cost of the Vimo being ostracized by the community, as they were the ones who started the war, as they are the more gladiatorial type. However, now they seem to be friendly no matter what subrace you seem to interact with. They all love to play their songs and sometimes take part in fun duels around town, mainly to decide their decisions from the most convenient to settle a manner and one of the least convenience. So hooray, we have the Alterlings now. Yes, I will be providing a Google Doc. Now, the entire spiel I just said, and I designed it in a way that it does not conflict with what's written on the page. The entire thing is not written fully on the page, though. So, on the page, it says a much more streamlined version, where I also, I will say, some outtakes are definitely being a part of it, mainly because I am terrible at editing. But we have the Alterlings! Hooray! They are named from both Inkling and Octoling, as they both have Ling in the name, so I thought, oh hey, they have to have Ling. And Changeling, because, well, they change shape. And Alter is from the fact that there's a spell called Alter Self. Alter means to change, and Alterna. So, yeah, very deep name. Now, I could not find exact things for certain ones, so please forgive me. However, I do know that we have the correct ages and size as, oh god, that took me a while to find, because again, I've not played Splatoon 1, and that is where that information is. I have a Wii U. I should probably get Splatoon 1 and play the story mode, and then immediately pawn it off, I guess. So the Alterlings have a +2/2 dexterity no matter the subrace, which makes them excellent dex-based fighter, bards, whatever. Dex is just an important stat to have. I have Fey ancestry because in the official lore of Dungeons and Dragons and in most lore that I've played in, yeah, most of the time, things that can change shape kind of come from the Feywild, and therefore have Fey ancestry. And then we have the big thing called change shape, which allows you to go into a swim form, which I just called the altered form, which basically is the Inkling and Octoling swim form. You can make this whatever you want, as long as it can reasonably swim faster than you walking normally. I let you do this an unlimited amount of times, but you can't attack in this form. You can only cast cantrips, only if you have them. And you also can't trigger opportunity attacks because of just how it works. I know in game you can hit an Octoling or Inkling while they're swimming, but that is kind of hard if you don't know what you're doing. And about only half of the 13 classes or 12 that I can work with that, actually can do martial is about 6 of them. So yeah, I just made it so that they can't trigger opportunity attacks. Not like it matters too much anyways, as opportunity attacks don't come out as much as you think. And then we have subraces. The Woomi are the Inkling variety. And they have proficiency in persuasion, a very good skill to have, and they have +1/2 charisma to corroborate this. The Vimo are the Octolings, and because they are more militaristic in the lore, I gave them +1 strength. I wanted to do +1 intelligence, but I was talked out of it. Because is Matt, my good friend who also helped me again, linked in description, told me that despite the fact that most of the named Octolings that we know of, aka Marina and Oct, are very good with technology, and I want to be like magical with it. He said that most of them are just more militaristic and are much stronger. So strength, and you get some very helpful proficiencies. He's like long swords, long bows, and hand crossbows. I gave him more ranged options because it's Splatoon. They only recently got a pseudo melee attack. I mean, I guess Roller and Brush served it in Splatoon 1 and 2, so they only recently got a sword is what I'm trying to say. And in this document, I also include some special feats that they can take, starting at level 4 as well, or level 1, depending on how you roll things. Simply put, I gave them 3 feats. 2 of them are specials, and then the last one is the gameplay mechanic that my friend mentioned I should probably add to it. So we have attack form, healing form, and zip rider. Zip rider is probably the one that might piss off Nintendo. So let's start with that one. Zip rider is a reference to zip caster. I could not think of a name better than zip rider. So in order to use the zip rider, you need at least 13 to dexterity, which if you choose, which this race does grant a +2, so it's easy even if you use standard array or point buy. You could also just roll it. And then you need spellcasting or pact magic in order to do this as well. Pact magic, I think the reason why I specified that, because it is technically a separate thing. You are sacrificing a level 2 slot in order to activate the zip rider form, which I named the launcher form. And you choose a spot within, I said 60 feet, and you go straight to it. And this is not a teleporting effect. However, this can still be dispelled with dispel magic, a casting of that, or a casting of counter spell, because you are using a spell, technically speaking. Once you land in the spot, everything within a 5-foot radius of you who must take a 2d6 plus dexterity damage of acid damage as you run into the wall with an acidic splash. Now, this is a 2-hit effect. You roll once for every creature around you. If you go into the same space a creature is already in, you can land within 5 feet of it. So, yeah. And this form lasts for a minute, so that is 10 rounds. I think that's pretty fair because you are sacrificing a level 2 slot for it. The attack form is a reference to Kraken. It basically minuses your swim speed, despite the fact that in-game it doesn't do that at all. In fact, in Splatoon 3 it increases it by a stupid amount when you charge. But in return, you gain the option to use well, a melee attack, a special melee attack that is strength based and it is 1d6 damage. However, you can only do this up to your Constitution modifier before a long rest. You can only attack this way. In order to even take the feat, you need at least 13 to Constitution, and you didn't take the last feat that I added, which is Healing Form, which only has one requirement, being you didn't take Attack Form. You didn't take the Kraken. Basically, up to your proficiency modifier per long rest, you can go into your altered form, and you gain in the amount of uses left d6 worth of temporary HP. So if you have a 3-tier proficiency bonus, you gain 2d6 when you use it, then 1d6, and then another 1d6. The minimum is 1, so you can use it as much as you want. And no, it does not stack. That's why I mentioned temp HP. This is the gameplay mechanic one, because in Splatoon, you can just go into your own ink and heal up any damage you've taken. And then the rest of the document is, well, the OGL. But other than that, I think that is very good. I hope you all have a very wonderful day, and good night, everyone.